Hey guys, so the other day I was reading an article that I'll link in the description below that was talking about the weirdest movies on Disney Plus. Now, I've been frequenting Disney Plus a lot lately, what with being stuck in the house and not having too much else going on in my personal life. And I'm also a fan of weird and obscure media, as everyone who's been following this channel knows. And one of the movies on this list was called Mr. Boogedy, and I had never heard about it before, but after watching it, it is one of my new favorite movies. And I had to show it to you guys because this is what I do now when I find oddball movies. I make a video about it and I post it on the internet.
Let's see why we have to move to the middle of nowhere.
So the movie starts off with our protagonist family. They are moving to a new home in the middle of nowhere.
It's not the middle of nowhere, it's the middle of New England.
Middle nowhere, middle New England, kind of the same depending on who you ask.
I think I'm gonna be sick. That's funny. Plastic upchuck.
And the dad of the family contributes exactly two things to the plot: dad jokes and weird pranks, which do not get annoying at any part of the movie. Ever. So not only is their new dream house basically just a bunch of sticks holding it together with a prayer and a dream, but the realty sign says not really haunted, which just genuinely raises a bunch of red flags to me. If you bought a carton of ice cream at the grocery store and the guy who sold it to you was like, haha, this is not really a bunch of rat chunks in vanilla water, you wouldn't want to buy that ice cream now, would you?
As advertised, definite fixer-upper.
No one's ever happy about moving into a fixer-upper though, right? Like that's not a thing. Oh boy, just like the listing said, there's asbestos in the walls and this might give us tetanus.
Do you think it's haunted, Dad?
Of course not, son. The realtor would have told me if it was.
Yep, you see the sign? It says it's not haunted. So it's scientifically impossible for it to be haunted.
Whoa! Fantastic! Lots of room to stretch out.
I'm sorry, did they not see the house before they moved into it? Did they just let the dad pick out the house and nobody else consulted with him on it? Because I don't think that was a good idea.
Over here, I think I found a lamp.
Because you couldn't see what that was before she turned on that very minimal light, right? Oh, what does it say? I can't really see it. Ooh, nacho cheese!
Don't point, honey.
So at this point we meet Mr. Witherspoon, who is portrayed in this movie by John Astin, who is one of the most phenomenal actors ever. I love him. He is absolutely hands down my favorite part of this movie. Every time he's on screen, I'm so entertained. It's so funny.
How do you do, Mr. Davis? Witherspoon is my name.
But the character Mr. Witherspoon apparently is just broken into their house and is just waiting for them, just chilling out in the corner. And not only is that weird, but the dad doesn't really seem fazed by it in any way, shape, or form.
Joy buzzers. Pretty great, huh?
I have a son your age. He's unusual.
So not only is that creepy, but that whole thing about him having a son, that just never comes back.
I'd like to welcome you to our town and warn you. Get out!
So he wants to welcome them. And also, he wants them to get out. Okay.
Whatever you do, I want you to keep an eye out for the Boogedy Man.
Boogedy! 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 Boo!
So he warns the family about Mr. Boogedy, or the Boogedy Man, and then leaves. And everybody's just like, huh, it's weird that old man broke into our house. Well, let's go to bed.
But nobody here ever heard of Bruce Springsteen.
What a random and very specific complaint to have.
Coronavirus!
So the sister starts to hear sneezing. She goes to check it out. And there's literally nothing there. Meanwhile, the two little boys have ventured down into the basement, because that sounds like a good idea.
Find any ghosts, fellas?
I do love that the ghost is messing with the kids, and then all of a sudden, the second that the dad comes down, the ghost is like, hang on, is that a grown-up? Oh, shit! And then just leaves.
But Dad, my fuzzy teddy bear's gone.
Reginald Ernest Davis, move.
Nope. Don't like that. Also, the ghost just kidnapped this kid's teddy bear, Dad. Have a little bit of compassion. So the next morning, the sister is talking about what she saw in the room the night before. She thinks the house might be haunted. The dad and mom are just not helpful at all. The dad keeps fucking around with all of his weird pranks that he does.
Gee, I thought these were different. They look pretty good to me. What do you think?
Damn, they just shot that poor little child actor in the actual eye with water, and he's just like, oh, I gotta keep the scene going. Oh no. The next night, the sister sees the same glowing light coming from the same door and goes to check it out again. It's mostly a repeat of what we've just seen, but instead of there being nothing, this happens. You know how people pass out?
You were clicking your heels together, and all you would say is, there's no place like home.
So not only is that from The Wizard of Oz and doesn't make any sense, but again, it's one of those things that never comes back up in the entirety of this movie.
The Boogedy Man! His face, it was all yucky and like a grilled cheese sandwich or something.
Okay, now hang on, I get that you're scared, but don't make fun of Mr. Boogedy's face, that's just mean.
Look, it's his footprints!
Wow.
Oh, that is strange.
Not only is that strange, but that doesn't make any sense. Does Mr. Boogedy have to walk up the wall to escape through the ceiling? I don't really know how Mr. Boogedy's escape plan works in this movie.
You know what? I bet Neil Witherspoon set this up.
How is that better than if it was actually a ghost? That's a person, once again, breaking into your house. That shouldn't make you feel better. So nobody believes the big sister, nobody's helpful. But then the next day this happens to the boys. And they're like, oh shit, this place really is haunted. So all three of the siblings go to the local historical society to try to get answers. And who do they run into but Mr. Witherspoon?
Huh? Who? Why?
Mr. Witherspoon?
What am I doing here? Ah, I work here.
Just genuinely the best character. And unlike the other adults in this movie that are completely useless, Mr. Witherspoon gives the kids the entire lowdown of why this house is haunted. And it is my favorite backstory scene in any movie I think I've ever seen.
William Hanover, and he was a strange man. Nobody liked him.
Okay, I know Mr. Boogedy isn't a nice guy, but I mean, if a clown was juggling and then pulled you into his act, would you be happy about it? Because I wouldn't. If you're like a professional clown that juggles, please don't at me. I'm sorry. No offense.
The beautiful widow Marion, who lived with her sweet little boy, Jonathan.
Oh, good sisters, do you think if he is really all that bad? He trieth. I am sure that he trieth.
He trieth. That's the way they used to talk in ye old New England, right?
Hanover fell in love with Marion. She turned him down.
So Mr. Boogedy has a thing for this girl, and she friend zones him. So what do you think the next logical step for him to make is?
Some people say he sold his soul to the devil that night. Sold his soul for a magic cloak.
There's so many things grabbing my attention in this scene because they just clearly spared no expense on costume and set design, but... Huh? You get rejected and you go straight to Satanism? Maybe go speed dating. I mean, there's other people out there. You don't need to do this.
When Marion's boy, poor little Jonathan, had a terrible cold, who should jump out of the woods?
Mr. Boogedy?
Right! And he took Jonathan.
Uh-oh. Hey, guy. Maybe don't do that. If she didn't like you before, she definitely won't like you if you abduct her child.
Mr. Boogedy decided to cast his very first spell. He blew up his own house.
So after kidnapping a child and trying to blackmail his mom into marrying him, Mr. Boogedy cast a spell for reasons on the house and blew it up. So now all three of those characters are ghosts. They're dead, and they're haunting the premises of this house. Cool. So the kids try to go home and explain all this to their parents, because they probably should know, and they are just as unhelpful as they were before.
Would you mind turning it on, sweetheart?
Daddy had it made special just before we moved.
You had that special made? Why would you have that specially made? So just when it seems like the parents are just never going to catch on, shit starts going completely crazy. And while everybody else wants to leave, because that's the smart thing to do, the dad decides, hey, why don't we just camp out in the living room? Surely the ghosts won't get us there.
Dad, can you tell us a story?
Suddenly, there was a noise that sounded like...
Jesus. Hey, I know my kids are scared because we live in a haunted house, but you know what? I'm just gonna try to give them even more nightmares. Parenting. So they all try to go to sleep, but the mom wakes up in the middle of the night and grabs the most intense looking midnight snack I've ever seen. Like an entire loaf of bread, a whole block of cheese, Kraft singles, and a whole bell pepper and tomato? Are you okay, Mom? But then things get even less okay for the mom when this happens.
Are you a ghost?
Yes.
Oh, dear.
Just the most nonchalant response to seeing a dead person I've ever seen.
I cannot enter your home.
Well, yes, you can. You certainly can if I invite you.
Mr. Boogedy preventeth me.
He preventeth you? How dareth he?
So you're a ghost. Uh-huh. You've been haunting my house. Yep. Scaring my children. It's pretty much the gist of it. Huh. Yeah, super weird, I know. You want to come in? I have some fresh bell pepper. Ew, gross.
He hath kept me from my son for over 300 years.
Your widow, Marian. Because the children told us all about you.
Couple things there. One, I think you can just call her Marian. Imagine if that's how you talked about people. Like your friend walks in the room, it's like, hey, that's divorced Betty. Good to see you. Second of all, when did they tell you about her? Did that happen? I didn't know that happened.
Oh, please, you must come in. You must.
As long as Mr. Boogedy dwells within, the magic that keepeth him there also keepeth me out.
This dialogue is just a little bit baddeth.
We have to get rid of Mr. Boogedy. Get rid of his cloak.
So the family decides to go full fight mode and decides that they are going to take down Mr. Boogedy one way or another. And they do that by creeping up the stairs slowly while each of them carries a very non-threatening weapon.
Do you think this is wise, dear? What if it blows us up?
I'm gonna protect my house if it's the last thing I do. Oh wait, it's dangerous? Well, I'm out.
Don't worry, Eloise. I'll talk to him.
That's good, girl. Talk to him.
You were just talking to a ghost like 10 minutes ago with your bell peppers and cheese.
Dad's gonna negotiate with Mr. Hamburger Face.
Again, no need to be mean. So they all go up the stairs to talk to Mr. Boogedy politely like they're cool parents that just found weed in their kid's backpack.
Boogedy, we're coming in now.
But it's just to talk.
And they don't find anything. But meanwhile, one of the little brothers has gone missing, and the other little brother finds him down in the basement playing with a forest ghost.
He stole my fuzzy teddy bear, Corwin! Ari, this is Jonathan. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to take him.
Okay, this kid's adorable, and I genuinely feel bad for little ghost boy. but you definitely meant to take him. You don't accidentally steal something.
I didn't mean to take him.
I expressed opinions that I do not hold at all. I said things that I don't mean.
Anyway, Mr. Boogedy shows up, scares the kid away, they all go running upstairs. And at this point, with 6 minutes left in the movie, we finally get to see Mr. Boogedy.
Boogedy! Boogedy! Okay, so you don't want to talk. Fine.
Okay. So that's electricity coursing through their veins. They just didn't get electrocuted? Are they immune to electricity? Does electricity not work in this universe? I have a lot of questions. Just let go.
Okay, let go, I got you.
Oh, I can't. My hands are stuck.
Okay, that's fair. So just when it seems that all hope is lost, the 6-year-old pulls out a shop vac and vacuums up the ghost.
What have you done to me?
Did no one else think to do this in 300 years? But anyway, thanks to the bravery of a child and mid-1980s special effects, Marion and her kid get to chill together. And that's all that's important, right?
You were very brave, Ari.
I knew you could do it.
Besides, as we all know, there are no such things as ghosts.
You wanna bet?
And just like that, it's a happy ending for everybody involved. And I know what you're thinking, and yes, there is a sequel. So keep your eyes peeled because I will 100% be making a video about that at some point in the future. But really, that's all I have for you guys. I found this film really, fun and goofy, and I had a lot of fun watching it. So I hope you guys liked this video. Be sure to like and subscribe and do all that good stuff. If you've been watching the other videos that I made, I've been ending them all by saying I'm not a YouTuber and this is not a YouTube channel. That's because it's something I said in the first video when I thought I was not going to continuously keep posting. I just wanted something fun to do while I'm here stuck in quarantine, and I thought, I'd make a couple of videos, maybe some of my friends would watch them, and it'd all give us kind of a good distraction. But now there's, actually people that are just here subscribing because they like the videos, and that makes me really happy. And I'm really grateful to that. Thanks to you guys, that outro bit doesn't really make sense anymore. And I'm really happy about that because I've decided that I really have fun making these videos and I hope to keep doing them. So I guess I need a new outro. Thanks for watching. My name's Avery. I'm a YouTuber if you say so. And thanks to you guys, this is technically a YouTube channel. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.